Hello and welcome to Med and Health Sports. As part of this first video, it's important to present the main idea of this channel, as well as the members of this project. Through the videos we'll be updating every week, we are going to talk about how medicine and health are related in almost every way sports. We have a countless amount of information that we can talk about, from bone fractures or diets to something more complex like psychological situations or concussions. That's the main idea that we are going to talk about in today's video. To start with this video, we need to know what is a concussion. Medically, it is a syndrome of biomechanical alteration of brain function. It is a temporary change after a cranial trauma. For some years, this has become very common in many sports, so much so that in 2017, the epidemiology was estimated like 3.8 million concussions only in the United States per year during competitive sports and recreational activities like football, baseball, soccer, box, and MMA. Once you have received a blow to the head, immediately you will have a concussion. With this concussion, immediately it will appear some symptoms like headaches, concentration problems, dizziness or nausea, memory loss, loss of balance and coordinations, long-term effects of a concussion, loss of consciousness, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, that is the main idea of this project, of this video. Neurodegenerative problems and psychological problems like depression.
What is done to detect pathology caused by concussions? Well, there are many tests, but the most important and relevant in the sports are the balance test, the cognitive test, the neurological examination, and the CT and MRI scans. Well, and also the sports that frequently have these incidents are the football, the combat sport, such as boxing and MMA, the soccer, and the baseball.
What is the concern about constant concussions in sports? Although it has always been an occurrence, it had never had such an importance until the mid-19th, especially after the famous case of Mike Webster, former National Football League player and legend who will request a disability application and compensation for health damage. Research began in order to analyze the problem in the NFL, and years later in other sports like baseball, MMA, and more recently soccer. This type of events has become a major problem worldwide in most sports, since it usually affects the performance of athletes as well as their physical and mental health.
Is there a cure for the concussions? Well, once it occurs, the chronic encephalopathy derives from numerous concussions. There is no turning back. Unfortunately, the brain has suffered a significant change. However, it can be prevented by helping this type of blows and contact to the head.
What has been done to avoid it for the most part? In 1994, the Mild Traumatic Brain Injury Committee was created by the NFL and by the then owner of the New York Jets, Leon Hess. Since that time, the NFL and other sports federations around the world have decided to take concussions and their consequences more seriously. It's the athletes' own decisions what have caused a change in the struggle against concussions. To illustrate his in football, there's the recent implementation of a protective foam helmet called Guardian Caps in the training sessions of all NFL teams in a mandatory way for certain positions. On the other hand, another initiative in the use of protective foam helmets for goalkeepers in soccer being pet such the best example of this.
Now, after all we have said already, we would like to say a fun fact. And did you know that there is a movie that is related to this issue? It's titled Concussion and directed by Peter Lensman, and the star actor is Will Smith. In this movie, it tells the story of the NFL player and legend Mike Webster, and we see the causes of his death, and as well as some solutions that were sought for such an event, and the most important, the clinical side of the problem. Now, to finally put an end to the video, we would like to discuss that after all the information we learned, we know the risk and importance of avoiding concussions in sports. So this way we identify this is not only a problem of the United States, but also in minor leagues, because it can also happen. And they should use some protection like the already mentioned Guardian caps to avoid concussions like in the leagues of Onefa or Canada.